Welcome back to Off the Record, guys. It is April 29th. The month is almost over. If you're in the Pennsylvania area, we've had some beautiful weather today. Hope you got out there to enjoy it. I definitely took the dog out a couple times, make him pee, make him enjoy the sunshine. It was for him, not for me. But let's get into the news today. If you've been paying attention, I talk about some bigger bands in the beginning, and there's always a local shout out at the end to a local musician. So far, it's been people I know. It still is. We'll get into ones I don't know as the show goes on. So, today, we are your go-to spot for all things alternative, punk, and rock. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic and enduring acts in the punk rock scene. That's right, Alkaline Trio. If you paid attention yesterday, we talked about Green Day. That was fun. Oh, hey, Justin, what's going on? Justin from Japan, watching in the Middle East. So whether you're a diehard fan who's been in the scene since God Damn It, the song, or someone who's just discovering them through their most recent work, we've got a full rundown for you. So from tours to festivals to collaborations to a bit of drama, it's all here. So just sit back and let's take a dark, brooding walk through the red blood history of Alkaline Trio. So Alkaline Trio, they formed in 1996 in McHenry, Illinois. Probably a small town. I've never heard of it. And they quickly established themselves as a band with a unique voice in the punk rock genre. Their debut full-length, God Damn It, in 1998 was raw, emotional, honest. It was also laced with just enough morbidity to stand out from the rest of the crowd at that time in the punk scene. So the band's lineup solidified with Matt Skiba on vocals and guitar, Dan on bass and vocals, and eventually Derek Grant on drums. So Alkaline Trio was always balanced. They always balanced a tightrope between horror punk aesthetics and melodic hooks with their music. Think Misfits meets Jawbreaker if you're a punk fan. So over the years, albums like Maybe I'll Catch Fire, From Here to Infirmary, and Good Morning helped them earn a reputation as one of the most consistent and introspective bands in the scene. Good Morning might be one of my favorite albums by them. That Blue in the Face, honestly, it's not their usual sound. It's an acoustic track. It's last on the album. It's towards the end, I think. I'm not sure exactly where. Check that song out. Love that song. Skiba's lyrics, steeped in heartbreak, addiction, death, and the good old Catholic guilt, kind of became their signature. So let's get into their touring history. If you've ever been lucky enough to see Alkaline Trio live, you know they put on a show that bleeds intensity. So over the years, they've toured with the who's who of the punk and alternative royalty. Let's get into that. Rise Against, sharing the Midwestern punk ethic and a fan base. The two bands toured extensively together, especially in the early 2000s. It seemed to be their band of choice for the road. Then they also toured with My Chemical Romance in the mid-2000s. Alkaline Trio opened for MCR during their Three Cheers to Sweet Revenge era, introducing their darker brand of punk to the new emo generation. That's a good mix, man. My Chemical Romance and Alkaline Trio. Talk about a dark punk rock concert. That's cool. So also they toured with Bad Religion, one of punk's most iconic bands. Bad Religion took Alkaline Trio under their wing for multiple tours. So, and then, can't forget, Blink-182. Of course, perhaps the most high-profile tour came when Matt Skiba temporarily joined Blink-182 in 2015 to replace Tom DeLonge. That connection led to Alkaline Trio playing with Blink fans who may not have otherwise given them a listen. Definitely a band that mixes well with Alkaline Trio. Definitely a different vibe. Blink-182 has a lot more laughing, a lot more playing around in their set. Hey guys, if you're watching live, comment down below if you have anything you want to add about these bands, or if you have any bands that you want me to cover in the future. I'm always looking for local bands, so if you know somebody, shoot them my show, comment down below with their name. I'll definitely do my best to get them on here. So, Alkaline Trio is no stranger to the big festival stage. They're particularly well loved at punk and alternative festivals. Warped Tour, like many of their peers, Warped Tour was a crucial part to their rise. They played multiple years. Their dark theatrical stage presence always stood out at those shows. Riot Fest, being from Chicago area, Riot Fest has always kind of been a homecoming for Alkaline Trio. They played numerous times, and fans always packed the field for their sets. They are also playing this year's Riot Festival, which we're going to be talking about later on in the show. So, Download Festival in the UK, well, not strictly a punk festival, Download embraced their harder edge material and brought the band to a new international audience. It's good to see them going across the pond. So, the Reading and Leeds, UK, and Grozer Rock in Belgium, their European festival circuits, they really stand out in this. Bringing that horror punk to the UK and Europe sounds really cool. Have any of you guys ever been to a festival in Europe or a concert? I want you to comment down below who you saw, or even if you've been there. I spent some time when I was a child. I want to say I was like 10 years old, so wasn't drinking, wasn't partying. Maybe we'll go back. So let's talk a little bit about the juicy stuff. In 2015, Matt Skiba temporarily replaced Tom DeLonge in Blink-182. This was a huge deal. Fans were split. Some praised Skiba for revitalizing the band, and especially on the California album, while others missed Tom's voice and alien hunting vibes that he brought to the band. Skiba's stint gave him major exposure, and even though he was technically a full-time member until 2022, it always felt like a borrowed fit to the band. I actually remember watching the live videos, and it seemed a little stiff for Blink-182. Again, Blink-182 has a completely different vibe to them live compared to Alkaline Trio. What's interesting is that during this time, Alkaline Trio slowed down a bit, but never stopped. So Dan, the bassist, kept writing music and even launched a band called Emergency Room, a solo project. So Derek Grant, the drummer, released his own material as well, and there was always rumors that Alkaline Trio would break up, but they didn't. In fact, in 2018, they dropped Is This a Thing Cursed, the album. A record that fans considered a true return to form, possibly inspired by the frustration and separation caused by Skiba's Blink commitments. I feel like some of the best albums that musicians write is from a pivotal time of pain and struggle. Every interview I've heard, the band's top albums are about some really dark stuff they dealt with. So then came the big news in 2022. Blink-182 reunites with Tom DeLonge, and Skiba is out. Fans asked, was Skiba pushed out? Did he walk? Skiba, for his part, was nothing but classy, wishing the band well and focusing full-time on Alkaline Trio once again. Honestly, I'm really happy that Tom DeLonge went back to Blink-182. They've got their own texture with Tom. Not really thrilled with Tom's live vocals, but you're talking about three guys that have been playing together for 30 years now, at least. So, and then here's where it gets a little spicier. In 2024, Derek, the drummer, left the band. No huge drama, but plenty of rumors. So Grant cited personal reasons and the need to explore other projects. Jared Shovelson from the Hope Conspiracy and Painted Black has since stepped in as the drummer. And while he's not an original member, his hardcore roots bring fresh perspective and energy to this group for sure. So let's talk about what's next. In January 2024, they released Blood, Hair, and Eyeballs, their 10th studio album. It's pure Alkaline Trio, dark, punchy, melodic. Skiba's voice is gravelly and sharp. Dan's writing is arguably at its peak for this album, and the band sounds completely rejuvenated. This album has re-cemented their place in the punk rock scene and shows that they're not ready to be a legacy act yet. They're still writing songs that hit as hard as anything from Crimson or Good Morning. Again, Good Morning is my favorite album by them. So the band is back on tour, headlining mid-sized venues and playing select festivals. There's been talk of a 2025 European tour and a possible anniversary box set. We'll see if that happens. I will report on that if it does. So, what's the legacy of Alkaline Trio? Well, they're a soundtrack for broken-hearted and Black Hoodie kids, the ones who never quite fit in, and they never apologized for it. So with over 2 decades of music behind them and no signs of slowing down, Alkaline Trio is more than just a band. They're a mood, a mindset, or even a movement for the punk rock scene. If you haven't visited their catalog in a while, now is the time. If you're new to them, start with From Here to Infirmary, or Is This Thing Cursed? You'll quickly see why fans are so loyal. I recommend starting with Good Morning. Again, my favorite album. So that's what we have on Alkaline Trio. Again, I said we were going to talk about Riot Fest. So let's get into that. So Riot Fest is Chicago's loudest, rowdiest, and arguably the most emotionally unstable music festival in many different ways. So this year's lineup is a wild ride. The vibes are chaotic as ever. And oh yeah, there's always a little controversy with this festival. So let's dive deep into the lineups and the surprises and the heartbreaks and the reasons why Riot Fest remains one of the most beloved alternative festivals in North America. So, all right, first things first, the lineup. Riot Fest doesn't just book bands. It curates emotional nostalgia bombs. So headliners like My Chemical Romance, they're back for the 3rd time post-reunion. But let's just be honest, we're still not tired of hearing Helena while crying to our $12 beer. The price of beer at these festivals is insane. Justin's got a lot more. Soundgarden, oh yeah. Yeah, Soundgarden just got introduced to the Hall of Fame. Oh, Dr. Octorok, who was on our 4th episode, is chiming in as well. Hey, buddy. And he's the creator of 8-Bit Jesus. So let's talk a little bit about My Chemical Romance. So Gerard Way's voice is holding up surprisingly well in 2025. And their stage production, gothic theater with fireworks. It's like Halloween, but a lot louder. So we have also 9 Inch Nails playing, Trent Reznor returning with an industrial vengeance. Their set's it's a full body experience to see these guys. It's angry, it's cold, it's climactic, or cinematic. I mean, and Reznor's not going to let the Riot crowd go home without at least one existential crisis. Whoever leaves a festival without an existential crisis. So, yeah, Justin dragged you here away from work. I'm glad you could stop working to say hi, bud. It's good to hear from you. So now here's the wild card, no doubt. That's right. Gwen Stefani brought the ska punk legends out of dormancy. They're still tight? Surprisingly, yes. Just a Girl hit different this time, partly because it followed a deathcore band's breakdown last time they played. So, let's get into Riot Fest. Has always been an insane middle lineup. The 2025 is no exception this year. They have The Used, and they're celebrating their 25th anniversary of their self-titled debut. And Burt McCracken is aging like chaotic wine. He's also got some solo stuff coming out. It's really cool. You never know if he's going to sing, scream, or or just have a sermon in between songs. The crowd loves it. Also, Taking Back Sunday, another emo core legacy act that refuses to age out of relevance. Their set list balanced with new material, with the hits like Yes, Cute without the E just still slaps live. I love that Justin and Levi have their own conversation going on down here. I love it. Reminds me of all of our road trips. So we also have bands like Scowl and Zulu. They're injecting a much needed fresh blood into Riot Festival. Riot has always been a little older leaning, but these bands are bringing the generation gap. Skull's mix of hardcore punk and sass brings chaos to the pit, while Zulu's message, heavy, crushing sounds that are made for one of the weekend's most passionate performances. So let's talk about reunions and nostalgia. What is Riot Fest without reunions? So Thursday played Full Collapse, front to back, reminding everyone why post-hardcore was and still is a beautiful mess of feeling and volume. The Blood Brothers, man, I haven't heard that band in forever. They came back from the dead. It's been over a decade since they put out their last shared stage, and their spastic yet art-damaging chaos is just what this lineup needed. It's like they're bottled lightning, and someone finally cracked the seal on that bottle. And shout out to Boys Night Out, a criminally underrated band who made a rare appearance and totally shredded their set. The crowd might have been smaller, but those who were there knew they were witnessing something rare and raw from the band Boys Night Out. They have some cool albums if you want to check that band out. We still got Justin and Levi just taking over the chat. I love seeing people talking down there. So let's talk about surprises. So you never know what Riot Fest is going to throw at you. AFI pulled a power move. No advance announcements, no press. They just walked onto the stage mid-Saturday afternoon and played a blistering half-hour set. Davey Havoc looked like a vampire prince and sounded like one as well. There was also Secret Cover Stage, the Secret Cover Stage, which featured surprise covers all weekend. The highlight being Knocked Loose during a brutal version of Nirvana's song Bleed. Trust me, the pit was dangerous at its in the best way. So there was also a wrestling ring, live wrestling between sets, because why not watch someone get powerbombed while waiting for Motion City soundtrack? I know Dr. Justin likes getting powerbombed, especially when we're on the road. Thanks, Justin. Let's talk about the culture and the crowd. So Riot Fest culture is like Hot Topic in a Warped Tour. Had a baby in a urinal at Warped Tour and raised it on 90s alternative and zines. Any of you guys read zines anymore? Is that a thing for people? So people show out for this festival. You'll see aging punks with battle jackets, zoomers and eyeliner and fishnets. I always love the fishnets. And normies who somehow wandered in and are now questioning their entire taste in music. I love watching those people. The people that go to a festival because they like a couple of the bands and they look around and have no idea. Oh, yeah, Dr. Octus said never did read zines. Bro, there's gotta be some 8-bit zines out there for you to check out. So it's hot, it's dusty, half the crowd has questionable tattoos. It's probably more than half the crowd, but it's beautiful. So Riot Fest is one of those few places where the outcasts run the party. Also, huge props to the festival for expanding their accessibility measures this year. The ASL interpreters at the major stages, the sensory safe zones, and better signage. That's the kind of progress we like to see. That's really cool. I think that was some of the complaints people had about Warped Tour. Warped Tour definitely started losing money. Uh, yeah, Weird Al is also going to be at Riot Fest. It's a huge lineup. So let's talk about the controversial corner of the festival. That's right, there has to be controversy. So this year, some folks were not happy about the ticket prices, especially when the VIP plus Ultra package is hitting near $900. That's a lot of pay for a shaded porta potty. I'm not a porta potty fan. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I go to a festival, I always look for the real bathrooms. Porta potties skeeve me out. And then there was the booking of Falling in Reverse. Yes, again, the internet exploded again. Ronnie Radke did what Ronnie Radke does. He ranted on stage. He brought out a WWE wrestler and accused Pitchfork of being a quote tool of the deep state, unquote. Classic Riot chaos. Man, Ronnie Radke always has some talking to do for sure. So here's the truth. Riot Fest shouldn't still work. It's a niche. It's loud. It's nostalgic to a fault. But somehow it remains one of the most culturally important festivals in America. Why? Because it gives space to the music that shaped our awkward teenage years and the bands that also made us feel seen when nothing else really did. It gives stages to the up and comers and chances to legacy acts and the moments that live rent free in our memories. So in a world of over curated and influence driven festivals, Riot Fest is gloriously defiant in itself. And in 2025, that authenticity mattered more than ever. So that's the rundown on Riot Fest. If you were there, congrats. You survived the dust, the lines, the breakdowns, both musically and emotionally. If you weren't, there's always something next year. There's always videos too. So, what's going on, Mrs. Smith? Thank you for the hands up. So, next, we are going to get into one of my favorite bands. I don't know if you've ever listened to this band. They blew me away the first album they put out. So we're going to take a deep dive into this band. And they're quiet, yet sometimes not so quietly, shaping the landscape of the emo, post-hardcore, and alt-rock scene. I'm talking about the band Citizen. The Midwestern boys who have evolved from gritty emotional outbursts to polished alt-rock bangers. Hold on a second. Let me find that. There we go. I knew I could find it. There's a good little picture of all the boys. That top guy on the right is the lead singer, Matt. So this Midwestern band, they put out some really good albums. I recommend just start from the beginning. So they formed in 2009 in southeastern Michigan and northwestern Ohio. That is a middle of nowhere area. So Citizen began as a melodic hardcore outfit. Think emotional grit with teeth. At the core of it all is the lead singer Matt Kirkies. I hope that's how you pronounce his name. What's going on, guys? We got a couple people here watching live. Comment down below on your favorite band that you've seen live. Tell me any festivals that you've been to. We just talked about Riot Fest. Joining in on the chat. Thanks for coming here. So, Matt Kirkies? He's kind of an emotional engine behind the band's sound. Early on, they dropped some promising EPs, but it was their debut full-length, Youth, in 2013 that really put them on the map. That record is still hailed as modern emo classic music. Raw, vulnerable, and the angst is in that album all the best ways. I listened to that album I want to say it was right after my divorce. It is a gut-wrenching emotional album. Just beautifully written, beautiful textures of music. I highly recommend it. Peach Fest was your favorite. Who'd you like seeing? Who's your favorite performer at Peach Fest? So, oh, it's a D. It's D. Okay, I'm looking at the name now. It's D. Hey, D, thanks for joining. So since then, Citizen has steadily evolved. We're leaning more into the alternative rock and post-punk textures. Albums like Everybody's Going to Heaven, which very different album from their first, really good album. And As You Please, also the album Life is Your Glass World, saw the band stretching sonically, experimenting with atmosphere, groove, and even touching on the synths here and there in the songs. I'm just reading the comments down below. Muse. I actually talked about Muse in an episode last week. Great band live. All their albums. Super sick. They're a gut-punching band. They just hit you really hard live. So let's talk about Citizen's tours and collaborations. So Citizen isn't just a studio band. They've built their name by grinding it out on the road. Over the years, they've shared the stage with a slew of genre-spanning bands. First band I've got on the list, Turnover. Remember when both bands were riding that emo wave in the early 2010s? That was dream pairing. Next, we have Title Fight, another cornerstone of the new wave post-hardcore revival. Another band that I love. This is a great matchup. I hope you guys have listened to this band. They're called Basement. UK grunge emo mix that was a great compliment to Citizen's evolving sound. Basement, great band for them to play with. Definitely check that band out. I'll be doing a segment on them probably later on this week. They've also toured with bands like Knuckle Puck, Movements, The Story So Far, all tour mates in the post-punk, hardcore adjacent circle. Recently, they've been touring with bands like Fiddlehead, Drug Church, and Angel Dust, aligning more with that hardcore meets alt-rock energy. So, and yes, Citizen has held their own on the massive stages as well. They've played Riot Fest. If you caught them in 2022, you know they own that midday slot. Man, that's got to be rough to play. A midday spot in the middle of the summer. That's the one thing I heard about people going to Warped Tour was watching all the goth kids just melting. All that eye makeup just running down the face, the fishnet stockings. Justin asked where Koi is, my dog. He's right at my feet. He's got a dog bed down here. I might add a bed right behind me so you guys can see him maybe. We'll see. Maybe the next episode. So also, they were featured on the When We Were Young festival, which brought together all of Warped Tour's favorites in the desert. Not to mention, they were also in Furnace Fest and the Fest in Florida. And they've also played some international fests in the UK and Europe. Because emo revival is global, baby. Alright, let's turn up the heat on this because every great band has a little drama and tension behind the scenes. So, in 2020, longtime guitarist Ryland left the band under somewhat mysterious circumstances. You guys want to see the puppy? Koi, come here. Come here, buddy. Come here. He's not cooperating. Come here, Koi. Come here. Come here. I'll show him at the end of the show. So, let's get into this. So, their guitarist left the band in 2020 under mysterious circumstances. The band didn't really say much. Neither did Ryland. Always show us the dog. I hear you, Levi. I will. The band didn't say much, but neither did Raylan. So, which sparked a wave of online speculation from fans. They speculated everything from creative differences to burnout. What's clear is that his departure marked a shift. The band leaned a little further into a streamlined, groove-based rock sound with with their 2021 record, Life in Your Glass World. Oh, you saw his tail. All right, cool. I'll show him at the end. So, and speaking of that record, that album marked a sonic rebirth, but it came during the pandemic, which meant no touring support right away for that album. That was a rough hit for the band. Like many bands, Citizen had to really pivot hard and keep fans with their engagement online pretty high, hoping people that would still really care about the music before the world reopened. So they also stirred the pot on social media in 2023 when Kirkies posted cryptic tweets about, quote, needing a break from music. Fans freaked out. Naturally, it turned out to be more about burnout than a breakup. Later interviews revealed the band had been grinding so hard for so long they hadn't really stopped to breathe. And if you followed Matt's solo work, you know he stays busy sometimes too busy. He actually has some really good solo work. Still, even the lineup changes and the burnout scares, Citizen pulled through. Their 2023 record, Calling the Dogs, was another pivot. Raw, tighter, and leaning into the garage rock and even dancey post-punk vibes. A bit of the Strokes, a bit of Joy Division, and very much Citizen. I'm not gonna tell Justin. You'll have to find out when you come back next month. So, final thoughts. So what's the magic of Citizen? It's that they're never stopping to grow. They don't rest on the same chord and cries. They evolve. They take risks. They drop an ambient track out there, and then there's a banger as well on the album. And through all of it, Matt Kirky's voice, that gravelly, melodic anchor that pulls everything together, just really hits hard. Citizen has lived in a few musical worlds: the emo world, the post-hardcore, the indie, the alt-rock world. And somehow they've never felt like tourists. They're super authentic. They've paid their dues. And they're not afraid to shed their skin, even if it means confusing some fans along the way. So from basements to festivals, from heartbreak anthems to sweaty dance rock, Citizen continues to redefine what all the bands in the scene are doing. Again, make sure you check out that band. Definitely one of my favorites. And if you've watched the show or heard anything about the show, I like to give local bands a shout out. So far, I have been really pushing bands that I know. And I've known Judah Kim for, man, I think it's almost been 10 years. The guy is a legend in the music scene around Philly. So let's talk a little bit about that guy and what he is up to. So we're digging into the alt-rock mind of Judah Kim, one of Philly's most exciting and under-the-radar artists who's been quietly and sometimes not so quietly dropping truth bombs through catchy hooks and sharp lyrics. If you haven't heard of him, don't worry, you're about to get schooled. So let's go back to the beginning. Judah Kim is a singer, songwriter, and a multi-instrumentalist who's been grinding in the Philly music scene for years now. This dude didn't just pick up a guitar last week and decide to become a frontman. He's been living in this world, studying music, playing in bands, writing, producing, evolving. This guy's doing exactly what you're supposed to in the scene. So before going solo, he was part of a band called Stone Throne, which had a solid following locally to the Philadelphia area. That experience laid the foundation for what some would come to say his solo career that balances polished alt-rock with singer-songwriter vulnerability. It's like he took the rawness of indie rock and sanded it down just enough to make it radio-friendly, but still sharp enough to cut. And that's what makes Judah's work really stand out. He's got that polish, sure, but underneath it, There's heart, there's tension. There's a guy asking bigger questions in every track. So let's get into the sounds and styles. So, what does Judah Kim sound like? If you're into Muse, U2, maybe even The Killers, but with a little bit more edge, you'll feel right at home there if you like those bands. His vocals ride that perfect line between clean and gritty. Think soaring choruses, atmospheric guitar tones, driving drums. It's alternative rock that's cinematic without being overdone. Still ringing the bell. All right, going for a walk. He's taking this dog for a walk. I get it, Levi. One of the things I respect most about how Judah uses his music to say something. This isn't just background music. These songs are personal, political, emotional, and socially aware. He's tackling everything from identity crisis to digital addiction to political frustration. And if you're living in 2025, you might be experiencing some political frustration, but also while keeping your head nodding. It's impressive. Let's talk production for a second. The man knows how to craft a song. Every layer has intention. Whether it's pounding bass lines or that haunting synth, there's always a mood being created with his music. It's rock for people who listen to not just hear. So let's get into his tracks. Hell yeah, adding him to your playlist. Thanks, D. Let's highlight some of these key tracks because if you're new to Judah Kim, I want to give you a little roadmap. Let's start with the song Backdoor. That's for you, D. This one's a jam. Big guitars, bigger message. It's a commentary on surveillance culture and how we've pretty much accepted that privacy is dead in America. It's like, yeah, your phone's watching you, but at least the song slaps. Maybe should I do a segment on phone technology and how we're all being listened to? People never believe me. I've been talking about that for like 6 or 7 years. Comment down below. Should I do a segment on that? So then there's Signals Fade, the song. This one hits you right in the gut. It's about disconnection, emotionally and digitally. There's a sadness to the song. It's not depressing. It's more like catharsis. One of those songs that makes you feel like you're being seen. And I got to mention the song We're All Terrorists Now. Yeah, he went there. It's a bold political statement about critiques on how society labels people based on fear. It's not preachy, it's poetic. The music backs it with that urgency to the lyrics. So also check out the song Keep Us Coming Back, which plays with themes of addiction to love to technology to the system that controls us. It's catchy as hell. It's kind of creepy once you really listen to the lyrics, that duality. It's just Judah in a nutshell. I really love his voice. Let me tell you the song that I really dig that I was listening before the show happened is the song Confetti. It's got like a smooth indie rock feel to that song. I love you too, Justin. So let's zoom in on Judah's lyrics for a second. This man is a thinker. His writing reflects a deep curiosity about how we connect, how we're manipulated, and how we find meaning in a world that feels more fractured by the day. He's talking about mental health, social conformity, and the influence of tech, and yeah, love as well, in the way that feels reflective, not cliche. It's all delivered with the most journalistic voice, like he's observing the world from the outside and reporting back with a guitar strapped to his chest. The best songwriters hold up a mirror to the world, and Judah Kim is definitely doing that with his music. So let's talk about the community and the live presence, the live shows. Judah's been performing in and around Philadelphia for years, often backed by a full band that knows how to bring these songs to life. Whether it's at World Cafe Live or a basement gig, he brings intensity and focus. I know I've seen him play at Steel City in Phoenixville. If you've ever been to a show, comment down there if you've been to Steel City and tell me who you saw play there. I've seen a number of acts play there. Some really good musicians. Not only open mic, I've seen some really good people, but I've seen some really good performances. So there's something intimate about his performances. Even when he's playing to a crowd, he doesn't just play at you, he pulls you in. And that's a rare skill for a musician. Philly knows how to raise passionate artists. And Judah's the one that really stands out and is still doing it for the love of music and the connection. Shout out to the Philly scene in general, supporting artists like Judah, who are out there writing meaningful songs in a genre that's often very much overlooked in the mainstream. So let's talk about future moves that he's making. So what's next for Judah Kim? Well, he's been dropping singles pretty consistently, and with each release, the sound keeps evolving. He's experimenting more with electronic textures, tighter hooks, and more cinematic layers to the tunes. You can tell he's got a bigger picture in his mind for the music. So is there going to be an upcoming album coming? We're hoping so. I don't know. I'll have to hit him up. No official word on that at the moment, but give his tracks a listen. It's safe to say that he's got something cooking, and if history tells us anything, it's going to be thoughtful. It's going to be relevant, and it's probably going to rock. So, guys, that is the lowdown on Judah Kim, the Philadelphia's alt-rock philosopher with guitar. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Oh, cool, you're playing Confetti now. Yeah, this is a really good musician. I really like his tunes. So we release a video every day at 5. I try to go live every day. Sometimes the schedule doesn't allow me, so I do release clips from the episodes that we've already released. I've released 5 episodes interviewing bands. The first one was Aiden Mattis of the Lore Lodge. They have like over 500,000 followers on their YouTube channel. Really cool channel. He's a history major. He covers cryptic stuff. He covers weird history stuff. Really cool. We have an hour-long interview with him about music, how he's got a band, how he's breaking into music a little bit. The second episode, I had Dave Heck, who is in Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties. If you know the Wonder Years, that is Dan Campbell's second band. It's more of a folk, punk type of sound. And then the third episode was with Joe Kenny, who I saw play with Dad & Co. This last Friday at Rec Room, the Sound Bank. Really good band. Their lead singer, Denny. They do Grateful Dead covers and a bunch of different covers. I'm not a Grateful Dead fan, but Denny's voice has this bluesy, like just hard-hitting, soulful energy to it that I love anything he sings. And we're actually playing with them at Root Down May 17th with them and a band called Kozer. She's amazing. I'm going to cover her as a local artist this week as well. And then the fourth episode, we had my man, Dr. Octorok, Levi Buffum, on. This guy was contracted to make an 8-bit version of the show Freaks and Geeks, and it was presented to Seth Rogen and James Franco. I've got the clip of Seth Rogen saying, "Dr. Octorok, that's a dope name." Really cool episode. We talked about his career changes, how he taught himself to get into, he's working in patent law now. Guy used to make 8-bit videos for collegehumor.com and a bunch of different comedy channels. You've probably seen the video if it was an 8-bit. And then the fifth episode that we released is with the Jules Marie. I know D knows that one. Beautiful singer, songwriter from this area in far too many bands, but we love her anyway. Come here, Koi. Come here. Come here. The audience wants to see you. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. All right, guys. This is my son, Koi. He is a Jack Russell Pug Cocker Spaniel mix, hence the giant ears. Everybody always thinks he's a puggle. That Koi dog, he's on Instagram and Facebook if you want to follow. You good boy? Give me a kiss. Aw, Justin says he loves you. So thank you for watching. Thank you for following. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Share this show with a friend. Share it with a musician. Also, shoot me a local band you want me to cover. Message me on Instagram or Facebook. Either one. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, guys.